going to start out here, and as you can see, spring has sprung. Obviously, it's Wisconsin, so we had a big cool off. It's been a few days since we filmed. I actually spent a few days up north at our cabin. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll probably have seen a little bit of that adventure. It was my daughter's spring break, and my wife was out of town for a work meeting, so I decided to go up to the cabin. I brought all the dogs. I brought Lillian. We ventured the woods. We found some grouse tracks. We did a lot of stuff that was really good for the dogs. Very informal training. Nothing like we're doing here. We went for 2.5-mile walks. They explored. They learned stuff. They were dogs. I picked up on some really interesting things with Máquina and our puppy that we're training right now that still doesn't have a name. I purposely started this session out with her just kind of wandering. I want to show you that as they grow, like I think one of the things that I talk about a lot that people get mistaken with, and she sees some geese flying and she's dialed in on that and she goes, I'll try to run. Well, you're not catching those geese. They're going to be gone. So I let her figure that stuff out. But I spent about several hours, probably about 8 hours answering Facebook messages because I had fallen behind. I was 60 days behind in messages. So I did my best to try to get caught up, which I did. And I really took away some things from that. And one of them was I need to do a better job of explaining certain things, because in these series, folks see very short windows of the day. They see very short windows of time that we're working on stuff. And they don't necessarily tell the true story of how we progress. And so I'm going to try to do a better job of that. It's impossible to do it without having a camera with you all day, every day. Here, good. So I never would have started a session out like this early on, which we never did. We'd come out under control, we'd focus on what we were going to work on, then we'd get done and we'd put her back up. She's gotten very good at certain things. Recall was one of the things we did early on. I don't want to jinx it. I thought about not talking about this because I don't want to jinx it, but her recall is getting really good, very consistent for her age and for relatively distracting spots that I put her in. She's coming to me. This was not like this early on. And so when it wasn't like this, when we struggled with it, I didn't allow it to continue to progress. I didn't allow it to just snowball, literally here. But I didn't want her to just continue to form bad habits. So at times I would pick her up, carry her out, put her in a penned-in area that was, maybe not penned in, but an area that was very controlled, didn't allow a lot of freedom. And I did that after trying to catch her a couple times to get her to come back in. Well, then all of a sudden, I did a little bit of food. I did a little bit of rattling the food in the bowl, and she decided she wanted to come running. Now it's a game kind of she'll come running back to the porch. She doesn't do it perfectly every time. And it hasn't become such an issue that I decided I can't do it anymore. But when we come out here, come here, Máquina. Máquina, come on. Ah, girl, come here. So a lot of distracting things in the yard. And she goes, I still come over. And so I am going to show you that it's not always going to be. So when we do things, now I look at this and I go, I'm taking this lead out. I don't want her running away. So I am getting a little more control of her. But she's not necessarily looking to take off on me. So I come in here and I help guide it over her head. Good. 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 And then I'm going to let you go for a second here. And then I'll take it off. I'll leave you alone for a little bit. What I don't want her to think is ever that, certain things lead to certain things and I have to avoid them. This is coming from a message from a person that's really having a hard time getting their dog to go in the kennel. And I think it's because all the time, or a lot of the time when the dog goes in the kennel, it's lock up the key and walk away and leave him. And the dog has gotten really smart very quickly and said, I'm out of here. Come here. So I don't want her to think, I don't want to come to him because he's going to put that leash on and then all of a sudden I got to do a bunch of stuff I don't want to do. Instead, I want her to realize, I'll go over by him. Come here. Come here. Good. This is kind of fun. He'll put the leash on. He'll pet me a little bit. We'll hear the cranes calling. Oh, that's cool. And then he'll take this thing off again. Oh, good. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good. Good. Oh, thank you. And then he'll put it back on again. And then I'm with them. And I want her to start to understand that when you're with me, the rules change. When you're on the lead, the rules change. I got to follow. I got to be in heel position. When you're off the lead, you can go and do your thing a little bit, because I'm not talking about training her off lead yet, although we started talking about it last week. But it's not, when we do stuff with the dog, it doesn't mean it's forever. A lot of the things we do with the dog are to intentionally shape a habit, which will then be able to overlap with the next thing we want to do, which will overlap with the next thing we want to do. I need her on lead to be able to take her for a walk, but I don't take her for walks to teach her how to heel. It's another one that's come up a lot lately with some of these questions. So heel work is something we're working on, but today I allowed her to come out with a lot more freedom, because eventually that's how we're going to do things. I'm not going to feel like I have to take the dog everywhere with everything we do under 100% super control and then be robotic and put her back in when we're done. Because a lot of people get turned off of the training that I'm doing because they go, well, I don't want to have to do that. That's not why I bought a puppy. I didn't buy a puppy to have a robot in a prison cell. No, I didn't either. But if we let the criminals run the jail from day one, we got a real mess on our hands. So there's a lot of structure that has to happen early, that as they start to learn and get good at stuff, they start to earn freedoms. She slept at the cabin every night on her place. She's only 5 months old. She's not even 5 months old. She'll be 5 months old next week. She slept every night on her place, never got off of it. Really nice. I mean, pretty young. There's a lot of things this dog's doing a lot younger than my labs do, as far as trusting her. Come here, come here. But then there's a lot of things that she's slower with. Come here. Hey, 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 come here. Good girl. So this idea, come here, come on. No, 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 come here. Good. Come here, come on. This idea, my point with it is it's not always, when I tell you to do something with the dog, it doesn't mean forever. It means until the habit gets shaped well enough that we can start having the dog understand it. Come on, let's go. So she's not going to come to me, so I'm going to leave you. I'm certainly not coming to get you. I'm going to leave you. Come on. Here, here, here. Yeah. Now, here's where, right now is where I want her back, because the thing I just said all makes sense until it gets to the point where I lose control. And so if I start to lose control, I got to reel her back in, and the more freedom you give her, here, come here, come here, all of a sudden you start to lose a little bit of that control. Come on. So get it back. Come here. Hey, 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 come here, come here, come here, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come here. Good. Come here. Come here. Hey, 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 come here. So this is perfect, because a lot of people will probably run into this. You can lose your cool and try to catch her. I've tried to do that. She makes me look like a fool. Come on, here, come here. Come on. Or you just say, okay, I'm going this way. Come on, here, 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 here. So I pushed it. I made my point. I should have put her on the lead the last time she came to me after let her do her thing, let her do her thing. I wanted her to air out. I noticed the last couple times I've taken her, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. That's a good girl. Come here. Good girl. Here, here, here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Hey, come here. Come here. Now that's a good decision. Now there's a good decision. Thank you. So, mental note on my end is, okay, you can give her some freedom. Now, I'm asking her to come back to me so we can film this. Where normally, in this setting, I could care less if you're running off like that. Because what I would have done is, if I didn't have something to do, if I didn't have to film this thing, I just said, well, I'm going to the shop. Well, I'm just going to keep going. And she'd have probably done this much quicker. Come to me. And then recapture her, regroup her, and then take the control away, or take the freedom away. You get more freedom the more you can show me you can handle it. So if you can't handle it, I pull back a little bit. If you can handle it, I might give you a little more slack. So we're going to start out today right back where we left off here. But it is a little different because of the way we started there. And look how sloppy that is. Okay, so 2 times in a row. She's right now, she's being a little snot. I can just tell. I can laugh about it today. 5 years ago I'd have been upset probably with her, but I got bigger things to be upset about in life, and I try not to be upset about them. So I'm certainly not going to let a 5-month-old puppy that's a little playful right now. Part of this is probably because we're ramping down from, hell, I just let her free run all over the place. So let's slowly gain some control back and really start. That what you'll see is that little mind of hers was running pretty free, running pretty wild, pretty loose. She was burning some calories, she was exercising, she was running, but she wasn't thinking. And so we went from that freedom and kind of, I would say it was somewhat measured control. Like, I didn't have a ton of control of her, but we've built up enough where she was with me. She was going to move with me. That's how we're going to be in the field. So there's a balance between the amount of control I have over the dog and the amount of natural stuff that the dog does that I don't want to take that away either. So there's this extremes that we're trying to get. I'm going to do a podcast about it because someone asked me, they said, man, I'm really enjoying this. I think they had a GSP puppy. And they said, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm a little concerned with the heel work that you're doing with the dog. Is it going to take away my dog's natural hunt? So I thought about that, and I thought, I don't know. I've not trained pointer in dogs before. But here's my thought on it. Maybe I'll be wrong. And if I'm wrong, you'll see it. But my thought with it is if you're that good of a trainer, if you're that good of a trainer that you can teach your dog to heel so well that it takes away all of its natural instincts to hunt, you are a really good trainer. Like, I don't know anyone I don't know anyone that good. And I know some really good ones. I don't know anyone that's that good. So if you are, and you do, my thought is you're probably a good enough trainer to figure out how to get the dog to tap into its natural stuff. Hunt, quarter, quest, seek out birds. I just have a really hard time believing that my heel work, and you got to put it into context, my heel work that happens here in my driveway and in my yard and in my house and downtown Milwaukee last weekend at a volleyball tournament, which was really good. Distracting, noisy, real challenging environment. She did very good at it. There's her attention span issue, a little bit short. But I have a hard time believing that type of training will erode a dog's natural ability to hunt, particularly because I think she's got some of the best genetics out there for what I'm looking, as far as lining up with what I'm looking for, a bird dog and a family dog. So no, I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that's going to be. I might be wrong. If I can't get my dog, now I trained a dog not too long ago named Callie that healed so well I couldn't get her to quarter when I first brought her in. But the intentions of what she was being trained for were completely different than what we were going to end up doing with her in the end. So we just changed it. We just took a different approach. And I think that the idea of extremes, if you train a bird dog to not quest because you taught so much heel work, I think that's probably a little extreme. I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we're to that extreme. If you let a dog just run wild because you want it to be a bird dog, I think that's an extreme as well. I think it's on the opposite end. I think you're going to have probably a real nice bird finder that you have very little control or struggle with the great majority of the time that you're not hunting. So I really am looking for figuring out how to get in the middle. So in the beginning of this session, we got a little extreme, a little further out of where I wanted to be as far as the control part. So now we're going to go a little extreme as well. Put a lead on, slow down, ask this dog to pay a little bit closer attention. Not just run, not just be an athlete. I'm going to make you think. I'm going to make you be a student here. Good. Good. Really flaring out today. Good. There. Good. There. Little correction. That correction really helps there. So that was a correction physically. I put pressure on her. It really got nice result. Good. Atta girl. Good. That's it. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. Pay attention. Nope. She's decided to get out in front a little bit. Good. That was a real nice stop. She didn't flare out as much and she didn't move as forward. Here. Good. Good. She's staying back in my pocket here. I like to call that my pocket. She's staying in the pocket. Good. The one thing I did this morning, I took all the dogs for a walk. We actually, I'm going to get this dog to think. I'm going to get her to slow down. I'm going to get her to get back into balance with the idea of those last few times she swung in, she didn't take that little bit of extra step, so I was pretty happy with that. Good, just like that. A little bit of a flare out on her. One of the things that I did, oh, I know what it was. I saw that woodcock this morning. So she got, now I caught her off guard here. One of the things too that is challenging right now is the talking that's going on. It's definitely throwing her off. She doesn't know if I'm talking to her or not. But she's got to get good at that too, because I'll carry conversations on with other people and the dog, that doesn't mean the dog stops. But this morning I had the other dogs out and I did a little steadiness with her with the other dogs around. And so I let her cast kind of free through the brush. We got to the back. I put her on a lead. She was playing with the puppy. She was being a little too aggressive with the puppy and really picking on the poor little bugger. So I put her on a lead. I said, no, we're not going to do that. It's unacceptable. So put her on a lead. And as we came through the timber, I made her stand a little bit. I was real careful with it because I didn't get too far away, especially with other dogs and the temptation of other dogs. There, a truck started, so that's good. She's going to hear that motor. We'll let that happen. Good. Look how nice that was. Heel. Mechanics wise, her lead slipped down below her here. You saw me come up and I rest that right there. Heel. I want that on that side. I want that on that right shoulder of hers, the loop and the part that's adjustable, the tab. So we worked on this steadiness. Whoa, whoa. We did it with other dogs. Good. So I'm going to work on adding a little distance today. Those 4 feet got to stay. No different than my labs. If they scooch, we're putting them right back on that spot. I want those 4 feet stands real still. And I'm going to start asking a little more of her. I'm going to start being a little more demanding with it. Good. We're not going to do that. Come on. Come on. Pick her up, start it over. Good. Heel. Heel. Good. Good. Let's see if we can get behind her. There. Good. Good. time this time. Good. Because what I don't want is I don't want her to, Now, that's interesting for me to see her sit. I'm not going to correct her for that. Heel, heel. She hasn't sat. You guys saw it this morning. For the first time, I had her down in the shop for quite a while, and I had her on lead because Ben's got his puppy down there, and she's playing with the puppy and causing all sorts of havoc. So I put her on the lead. I sat down and I was having a conversation with Leash. I was having a conversation with these guys. And for the first time ever, 5 months old next week, for the first time ever, I saw her stand for quite a while and then sit down and then lay down. She's never done that before. I've never asked her to, but she's never done that before. She lays on her bed all the time. She's never been with me and stood still so long that she finally decided to just kind of give in and say, you know what, I'm going to be here a while. So she laid down, sat down and then laid down. That's the first time I've seen her sit down. I still have not taught her to sit. And it's not because I'm afraid of a dog sitting on point. I know you hear people talk about that all the time. I just haven't had a need to, because the reason I usually use sit with my dogs is because they can't settle down. They're antsy pants. They're all over the place. So sit kind of puts a period at the end of the sentence. It makes them, you're done. Sit down, put your butt down. And then it's really clear to them, don't move. Understand where that they need to be. Her, I've never had her sit. And the reason is because she doesn't move, which I think is very natural for her, which I think is very desirable for a pointing dog. So I've just been saying, well, I'm good with that if you stand still. You don't have to sit for me. Good. And my whole reasoning for doing all this stuff right now, because I'm sure that if people are going to watch this, you shouldn't steady up a young dog like that. You're going to take away their hunt. Like I said, man, I'm not that good. I doubt very highly that I can take the hunt out of this dog, especially when I'm teaching the dog to stand still on my driveway. But time will tell. But the reason I'm doing it, and my answer to those that are saying you need to be careful because you're going to take out that dog's hunt or questing or range or whatever you want to call it. Good. The reason I'm doing it is because I don't intend on putting her on a collar. So if I'm not going to put her on a collar, when I say a collar, I mean a shock collar. If I'm not going to put her on a shock collar, I better be careful about how hot I burn that fire. Because I think a lot of times there's no concern with getting these dogs spun so tight. In fact, it's desirable for a lot of people to get them going and going and going, because you know you have this big hammer that later on you'll pound them back down. And I personally don't think that's fair. I don't like the idea of build a fire so hot and then pour water on top of it to try to control it. My thought is that's another example of extremes. Don't get extreme one way or the other. So I'm not going to get extreme and let them run wild. I'm not going to get extreme and have tons of pressure on them. Instead, I'm going to kind of pick our way through the middle here. Like, let her run when she can run and don't lose control, and then take advantage of and get a little control. Oh. Don't take it to an extreme, but I don't know that this is extreme. Asking a dog to stand quietly and wait for me. Good. I don't think it's extreme to ask him to do it for, 30 seconds. We're probably up to now. Started out with like 3 seconds. We're working our way up. I'm not doing it for 30 minutes the first time. I think that's an extreme. Good. Good. Very good. You could just see her thinking. When I went by, she moved that hind quarter, and I think she wanted to turn and watch me. Little verbal correction. Good. 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 A little too much pressure and a little too hard I came in there, and you saw those little feet move. Good. Okay, now you guys got your boots on. We got time. I'm going to take her around. We're going to go through the yard here, and I want to make the point of the balance. Now, long session today, especially with the delay with the camera. We were, I don't know, how many minutes are you going at right now? So we're 25 minutes in and we're going to go do another session basically. But I want to show you the balance part of it. We worked on some real nice little control stuff. Look at how high, look at that high tail. Look how nice, and we're walking through the grass and there's snow on the ground. She's healing beautifully. She's responding to me. And then I'm going to turn into her. She's going to show me some fancy feet here. Whoa, 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 there, get, whoa, 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 whoa. Come on. Good. Good. Oh, we threw her off because we're in a new spot. Good. So let's do that again. We'll move forward. Let's get it good. There. Turn. Turn. See that? Little challenge. We moved from the driveway to the yard. So we're going to have to get real good everywhere we go. Good. Let's take it all the way around here. Because she knows damn well where we're going. We walk this, we make this little loop. It's a great little spot. She's found her first woodcock over here. She knows I'm going to release her. But before I release her, I'm going to make her pay attention. Good. Good. Heel. Good. Better turn. That terrible turn. Look how bad that turn was. A little better. Let's just slow it down for her. So you could watch the video of us doing heel work on the driveway and say, boy, that dog heels nice. And then you can just simply move locations and watch her go, I've never done this before. I don't even know what you want. No, you know what I want. You just don't know how to do it right here. You can tell, look at these weeds, they're just throwing her. They're like a brick wall. Come on, heel, heel, come on, come on. So I look at that and I go, well, I don't want to go on from there. Let's get it good. The behavior is only good. It's only really learned. Like the dog only understands it if she can do it everywhere. If you get a dog to do stuff in like a routine, a choreographed routine, in the same spot, doing the same things, that's a trick. You just taught him to do a trick. Good. If you can change a lot of the elements and the behavior sticks, that's something they've learned. It's a behavior. It's a skill. She doesn't have it yet. Good girl. Boy, she's trying. Good. Now that's enough. Good. Heel. Heel. Whoa, whoa. Good. 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 No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Right there. Right there. great opportunity for her to learn. There, good. There's a good dog. Good. Good dog. Be careful not to end this poorly. So I'm turning to get that pressure off so I'm not moving in on her. Good. Heel. Heel. Okay, go ahead. I'm actually going to let her run with the collar this time. So she's a little. Come here, come here, come here. I'm going to take. I was going to let her run with the collar, but I think yeah, let's do it. She should get used to feeling that little bit of weight there. Good girl. I'm going to let her move with it, then I'm going to take it off. Because it is something that I don't want getting in the way. And it is something that I'm going to use to teaching her a little bit better off-lead heel work. So I don't want that to be confusing when the time comes. I don't want that to lose its value. All right, come on, let's go. So this is where balance comes in. I just ask you to work with me, close to me. Now I'm going to say, go ahead, do your thing. I love watching her do that. One of these times she's going to stick a woodcock, I'm sure of it. But, you know, the weather's weird, so they'll be back. Look at the nose there. Atta girl. So I'm watching her and I'm noticing she gets out so far, she looks to me. She gets out so far, she looks to me. I don't think it's over looking to me. I don't think it's too much. Is she running big enough range for me? Probably not yet. She's only she's not even 5 months old. So she's running a lot further than she was when we first started. So she's slowly, gradually kind of gaining that confidence, I think. I also think it really is dependent on the cover. If I get her in thicker woods, I don't want her getting much. That range might be good. I don't know how big I want her running. I like to see the dog. I'm not into watching a computer screen. So I'm not just looking to watch a GPS unit. No, come on. Come on. Come on, let's go. Let's go. She's well aware of where we are, but I don't think she has a need to be next to me, which is fine. Hi, girl. Good girl. Here, here, here. Good dog. Good dog. And that's it. I'm happy. I think she's happy. It's just a nice little session, and you know, I really think that the key to this is going to be, I don't think it's unique to this. I just think that I'm really starting to think in my head of figuring out the balance part with her, because I'm studying an awful lot about this, the idea of a setter and a pointing dog and all that stuff. So I continue to get knowledge as I go, and I'm seeing all sorts of different ways of doing it, different ideas of doing it. And I'm much like retriever training, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I do it similar to a lot of ways, and I do it very different than a lot of ways. But I don't know that I don't believe in the idea of follow this or that. I think it's use this, use that, use a little of this, a little of that, not quite as much as this, and back and forth. And for me, it's always about trying to figure out, what do I have to do to maximize. I'm really learning about the idea, I think, of maximizing their inherent traits. There's certain things I'm not going to train her to do on purpose. She's got it, bring it out, give her opportunity. But I also think it's really important for me to look at it and go, how do I want to do it? And how do I not want to do it? And kind of start working towards ensuring that gets I get close to that at least. Good girl. Here, Máquina, here, come here, come on. Good dog. Good dog. Here, 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 here. Come on, come on. Here, 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 here. Come on. That's a girl. Come on. No, come on. That's a good dog. Come here. Thank you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good. Good. That's it. That'll be it for today. So, long session, relatively long. My sessions are going more and more towards that, I think, as she shows me that she's capable of it. So we'll just keep plugging away.